Good evening, vacuum fans. As always, I am Carl, and this is a Hoover convertible. Unfortunately, this convertible has suffered a grave injury. At some point a long time ago, somebody sucked up something bad and blew the fan all to pieces. I got it from a good friend of mine, fellow YouTuber Mitchell Armstrong. He works closely with Everett Vacuum over in Everett, Washington, and he was given a couple of machines from them, both in dire need of servicing or parts. Unfortunately, the Eureka he got that day, we weren't able to save. The motor was toast. So, that Eureka's getting turned into a lamp. Then that led on to this convertible. Now, this had a broken fan and probably had sat back in their back room for at least 10 years, at least, maybe even 20. Hard to say. Either way, they gave this to Mitchell. Mitchell, who I am close friends with, and I made a deal for this one, and I have had it since. Unfortunately, I have had it sit for a while just because, well, things come up, you get busy. So, I just recently got a fan from my good friend Jared Martinson. I'll mention him again later, aka Husky Steel. I'm sure he'll be watching, so Jared, thanks again. We got this thing, a good new fan for it, so we're going to get that put in. I'm going to show you guys just a quick step-by-step on how I take these things apart. I'm not going to do a full tear down, restoration, clean up. I'm just going to do kind of a quick wipe off, clean out, and make sure that everything is okay underneath. And then we're going to get into that fan and see what we can do about getting them off. Unfortunately, those fans are not the easiest because they're reverse threaded, kind of like car lug nuts. But hey, we're going to see what it goes, how it goes. And I'm going to try to do what I can to make sure that this video gets to you guys as soon as possible. I know that last week was a blur, if anything. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on this, and let's get to the video. All right, so before we get into the teardown, I figured I'd go over a little bit of history with this little machine. So this is a Hoover convertible, model U4379. For those that don't know a whole lot about this particular machine, this was done up in kind of a honey beige and a crimson color. It was made in 1985 as kind of the answer to some of their previous models. This was also, or could possibly be, what's considered a exclusive or a dealer exclusive. Back in the day, Hoover used to sell their machines through other places like JCPenney's, Montgomery Ward's, and a few other of those big box stores. This particular one is known as the Service Merchandise Convertible, or at least that's what I've been told it is. Service Merchandise was another retail showroom type of store where you could go in and buy your goods in terms of all big box items. As to how many of those are still around, I am not 100% sure, but this machine is still around and we're going to keep it going. Okay, so we're going to get into this vacuum in just a second here. The first thing that we always do with one of these old Hoover convertibles is you just got to take the handle and the bag off. After those, you're ready to take that hood off, and then you have that motor exposed. Now you're also going to want to take the bottom plate as well as the brush roll and belt out as well. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. All right, so we've got our base and motor right here. As you can see, he's a little dirty. Yeah, these are vacuum cleaners in case anybody forgot these pick up junk on the floor. So, if you're surprised, shocked, you realize your regular vacuum does this all the time. You just don't see it, and you haven't seen it after about 50 years, dirt. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of my handy-dandy Tubbo towels, do a quick wipe down, clean her up a little bit, and we're going to pop that motor off and see what we can do about that fan. Okay, so I did give it a quick wipe down. Overall, the motor looks pretty nice. I did manage to get all the screws out of it. There's 4, but unfortunately, this little one, it's also got a different type of speed switch, and the motor mount is also connected to the handle release. So yeah, it's a bucket of fun. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to just pry up on this motor. Oh. Sometimes there's a little bit of adhesive that is administered to keep the seal with the fan. As you can see, this one did not have any. Now we're going to look at this unfortunate fan. So it looks like somebody just, well, they sucked something good and busted this fan all to pieces. When I took the bag off, it was full of fan shards. In addition to that, as per usual with us collectors, we've got a lot of hair entangled around the armature, or the vacuum drive shaft, for those that are wondering that term. So I'm going to go ahead and get this nut off. It's reverse thread, obviously, so that the fan doesn't go spinning off. So I'm going to go ahead and try to break that loose, and then we are going to get the new fan put on. I've got a new fan right here from my good friend Jared Martinson down in Eugene, Oregon. I intend on seeing him soon, so I'll have to show him this. So let me get that off. Okay, so I finally got the fan off, and it was a chore, to say the least. Turns out Hoover fans don't like to come off. So, and the big reason why is this counter-threaded pulley gets seized, and I can definitely tell that this was never, ever, ever taken apart, at least by a vacuum shop or whoever. So I'm going to go ahead and get that new fan on there, and we got tighten it with some vice grips, because this is not always the easiest task. Not to mention, we got to make sure that this is nice and tight, because even though this is going to be, you know, the opposite direction, we want to make sure that it is not going to go flying off, and then, you know, you don't really want that, do you? That could be bad. Just gonna cinch her down. Okay, I'm gonna say that is good. Okay, so now we get back into the funnest part, which is reassembly. Now I'm going to add a little bit of electric motor oil to these, or to this motor engine. Jesus. Because when we go back and put this all together, that way the motor will be all ready to go. Cooling fan doesn't want to go back on. That's fine. There you go, little buddy. There. It's okay. All right. So now, all right. So I'm going to add a little bit of motor oil on this, and I'm going to have this whole thing put back together. All right, so we got this convertible all back together in terms of the central motor unit. So next thing we have to do is pretty much the last part. The part that you would usually do when you took this thing out of the box would be to put the handle as well as the bag back on. It does need a new bag, but it's not quite full yet, so we're going to keep going with it. But I pretty much can guarantee, since whenever this blew the fan, this has not been used, and it probably was done about 20 years ago, if I'm averaging. When I had the carbon brushes open and exposed, they look very nice. I mean, obviously it had seen use. I mean, it ran really hard for a while there, it looks like. All right, so we got this handle back on, this little convertible. Let me grab that bag here. All right. See, this is the beauty of it, of a Hoover convertible, which when shipping one of these, if anybody's got to ship one and they haven't done it before, do not fret. It's literally one bolt, or two, depending on how little the box is. But you can get them into a box that's like this big, because you separate the handle into two pieces, take it off, take the bag off, you can roll the bag up, take the cord off, wrap it around the handle, and then put this down, and you got a pack. We are ready to test this little bad boy out. So I'm going to get things cleaned up and buttoned up and get this on the carpet so we can run it across the floor. So I am going to be just a moment getting that situated, and then we'll do a good old run test on this little devil. All right, and there you have it, folks. We have this good-looking little convertible with its stripy bag and tan, cream, medical color base and white handle with some red accents. Kind of an interesting color pattern. I've got a few others that are like that, but I kind of like it. But either way, we're going to do a quick run test with this bad boy, and then we will be all done for today. I do hope you guys liked today's video. I know I haven't done anything like fixing wise yet, and I will be sure to do some more restorations and cleanup videos, as well as some reassemblies and such. I know I didn't do a full restoration on this one quite yet. I mostly wanted to make sure that, one, I didn't break the fan in holding on to it, and two, that I was able to get this done. You know, I've done a lot of convertibles over the years, and I love every one of them, but I did want to just do a quick project with this little guy, and then, but yeah, we're going to do a quick run on this, and we'll be done for today. Okay, so we're going to kick that handle back. Thanks again for watching today, and we'll catch you on the next one.